Alright, y'all, this is High Time Reviews. We back with another one. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. We doing House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 7, The Red Sowing. Alright, so we start the episode off. You got Rhaenyra and Adam. They facing off because, you know, she want to know where he got the dragon from. So she hit him with the, hey, where you get my dragon from? He like, listen, lady, this dragon came to me. I'm pretty much innocent in this whole situation. And she like, well, what do you want? And, you know, he like, at this point, I want to learn how to ride dragons, you know, blah, 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 blah. She like, well, look, you done something that nobody has been able to do, which was claim this dragon. And I need to know what your lineage is. Do you have any family members that may be Targaryen? He's like, no, but I've always served the House Valerian on the ships and blah, 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 blah. She asks us about his mother. He say that the mom was on the ships as well. Then she asks us about his father, and of course he's not gonna throw Corlys under the bus, so he don't mention him at all. You know, he bends the knee to Rhaenyra, which I mean we all seen coming because he really just want to be part of something. So at the end of the day, like, I understand Adam and his whole just bending the knee to Rhaenyra because at this point now he's part of something bigger than whatever it was he was doing on the ships. So he got everything he been being thirsty for the last 2-3 episodes. Thank you, Adam. Rhaenyra agrees to take him back to Dragonstone. So she's like, look, you think you can fly this dragon back to Dragonstone? He like, look, I can try. And they fly off. In the next scene, you got Alicent getting patched up by the Grand Maester. Because if you remember, Alicent got all sliced up, you know, when her and Helena went out there to go pray. And then shit went left when Rhaenyra sent the food. And all the people started rioting in the city or whatever. So she basically telling the Grand Maester, like, she feel like she don't have no purpose, this, that, and the third. So, you know, and he just patches her up. And once he patches her up, she leaves out the room. And she tells her Kingsguard, Sir Richard, or whatever the case may be, she's like, well, I want to go out on the town. And he like, all right, cool. Well, let's pack you, you know, some stuff. Let's pack you some servants. And she's like, no, I just wanted to be me and you. And he looking like, boy, why me? He genuinely feel like, why me? Like, leave me out of it. In the scene after that, you got Larys, which is a.k.a. Littlefoot, and then you got Ironrod, which is somebody that sit on Aemon's council, basically coming to Littlefoot, basically telling him, like, listen, I done overheard that Sea Smoke got a rider. I feel like I'm going to trust you with this information, and you should relay it to Aemon because, you know, that's your man's or whatever. Now, the thing about that is Ironrod is reading that whole situation wrong because Aemon don't fuck with Littlefoot like that. Aegon fucked with Littlefoot, so for him to think that he would be able to tell him that and he would relay that message to Aemon was completely wrong. He's going to sit on it just like he basically told him. He's like, listen, I'm going to take this information. Granted, you didn't even get it from a reputable source, so I'm going to take this information now. What I think is you should probably sit on it because you don't want to throw it out there and we be wrong and then we just end up in the bad graces. Now, the main reason why he's saying that is because in the middle of them having this conversation, Aemon is literally beneath them in the guard in the courtyard of King's Landing, like basically shipping 2 of Aegon's Kingsguards off to the wall because they basically excited to riot. So Ironrod like, look, it's with you now. The information is with you now. So what you choose to do with it is on you. He ends up walking off. Larys ends up basically just like watching Aemon act a fool, and he know he don't hold no weight in Aemon council, so he might as well just find a way out. Honestly. Okay, so in the next scene you'll see the 2 dragons. You'll see Cyrex and Sea Smokes flying over, and then you see Jace overlooking the horizon, so Jace can see them 2 flying off. Now Jace is instantly pissed off because he knows at that point that Rhaenyra has aligned herself with whoever took the dragon. The Kingsguard, he comes in and he basically tells them like, okay, Rhaenyra's safe. They ask, everybody on the council basically asks like, oh, do you know who the rider is? And they basically tell Corlys like, well, he's a commoner that basically runs in your ship, you know, ship troop. And Corlys standing there looking dumb because he know exactly who it is. So according to the Grand Maester, he basically Rhaenyra has instructed him to teach Adam about dragon ride. Everybody in the room, of course, is judging the situation because he's a commoner, and Corlys, by knowing that it's his son, he's thinking to himself like, listen, let's just give it a minute. Let's let Rhaenyra come back around, and then we'll judge him when the time comes. Now, in the next scene, you got Masseria and Rhaenyra talking, and the thing is, you gotta remember they just had their little make out scene, so they feeling away, and he telling Rhaenyra's telling Masseria like, listen, Cecil chose him because Masseria is asking her like, look, do you genuinely feel like you could trust this man because you don't know him? Like, and she like, what choice do I have at this point? He has one of our dragons. We need him. We don't have strong enough dragons to take on Vhagar. She's like, how do we find more riders? She wants to find more people that are directly connected to Targaryen blood to try to use them as riders for her army. Now, Masseria basically tells her, you're not going to find anybody in the capital that may be blood of Targaryens, but she said you need to look amongst the common folk. So look for bastards and people that outcast and shit like that if you want to find somebody that may be a dragon rider that has some type of Valyrian or Targaryen blood within them. So she comes up with an idea to basically try to smuggle out as many Targaryen bastards or people related to Targaryens that they can out of King's Landing. It might work if you can get those people out of there without getting them killed. Here's my issue with this whole situation. You just seen what happened to Lord Draken or whatever the fuck his name is when he tried to claim that dragon because you thought he had a small percentage of Targaryen in his blood. Now you about to risk like a whole group of people? I'm confused. In the next scene, you got Adam. Basically, he's in the room that they gave him. Corlys walk up on Adam, and he basically tells him like, oh, look at you, look at how you've came up, basically applauding him for coming up on his own without having to basically tell everybody that, oh, my father is Lord Corlys. So Corlys basically tell him like, look, I trust that you're gonna do what you gotta do, and if you need to leave an absence from the boat, you can have it. I'm not about to. Clearly you're doing something of bigger importance with us here. Now Corlys, bro, if these your kids, just claim them. Just claim them. I understand you feel like they're doing good because they figured out how to establish themselves without you, but you're still their father. And you got the Riverlands running down on Harrenhal. And honestly, if Daemon was no longer in Harrenhal, it would be no reason for them to come there. Like, I'm so sick of the Harrenhal storyline. Like, I've never been more sick of the storyline than probably that one, because Daemon is way more of a formidable character or villain or ally than they writing for him. Like, be for real. So granted, if you remember, the Lord of the Riverlands, he ended up passing, so now you know that the young dude is basically running the shit, Oscar Tully. So like I said in the last video, Daemon feel like he can definitely bully this guy because he's a kid. Like, and I just think, Daemon, you got to understand, like, no matter what, you got to kind of respect people's ranks in certain situations, especially when you want shit from their people. So if you think that you going to not only bully this little boy, but possibly hurt him and think that you going to get what you want out of these people is wild, because it's not how it's going to go. Right, and then on top of that, Daemon, you out there acting a fucking fool, and then everybody knows that you're betrothed to Rhaenyra, so they see you as somebody out here cutting up under the queen's banner, which you're doing. Right, so what he ends up telling him is like, my family bent the knee to Viserys, so at the end of the day, if she's the rightful heir, then by you being her king consort, then by law and by like oath, we would have to give you what you want. But if you want some sneak shit, then I don't know if I can trust you. And I don't blame Oscar for saying that, because he can smell the desperation on Daemon. Like, Daemon is damn near begging for his army at this point. But again, you don't know what Daemon's real ulterior motive is anyway. Problem is, even though Daemon got the okay from Oscar is insecure about the situation, because he's like, look, I'm a child. I don't have really no knowledge of running shit. And he like, are they even going to take me serious? And he like, let alone they hate your ass, Daemon. So how is any of this going to work? And I'm like, Daemon, tell him like, look, at the end of the day, you still are the Lord of the Riverlands. So whatever you end up saying still has to go. I said, all right, cool. So in the next scene, Daemon and Oscar end up going to the crumbling Godswood, and And of course, all the Riverland and the noble people, the people there, and they basically trying to hear out the whole situation. And of course, Oscar tells them that he's gonna, bend the knee to Damon because Damon represents Rhaenyra, who his family had already, vowed to follow. They basically hit him up like, now, should we even listen to you because you're a child? You have no knowledge or no type of experience running this situation. So you saying, oh, we gonna give Damon this army, is that in our best interest or is that in his best interest? Now here's the thing. Damon forgets that at the end of the day, like, you still need something from this man. So Lord Oscar gives him the army. He gets the people to agree, but at the end of the day, he wants Damon to sacrifice his mans. So Damon ends up having to kill his mans in that moment just to get that army. And it's crazy because at the end, like last episode, Damon had this man basically vow to basically do whatever he wants of him. Like in the sense of like he devoted his sword to Damon. And basically for Damon to end up having to kill him, but that's because Oscar could see that they was on some fuck shit. So he knew that basically getting Damon to kill Willem was probably the best play. It asserted Oscar's power in that situation. I can say that. So, like I said, making Damon kill Willem definitely showed his power. So he like, look, you can think that because I'm a child that you can walk all over me, but nigga, you fuck around and find out. So now you gotta kill your mans. And like I said, Damon did it. And now he looking dumb. The next scene, it's another one of them hallucinating scenes, and I really just don't even want to watch no more. It's a bad scene because you see Damon walking into his apartment and Viserys is sitting on the bed. But the thing about it is, it's not like healthy Viserys. It's like Viserys on his last leg, and he like, look at what the crown did to me. He like, hey, do you still want this? Is this something that you still oppressed for? Like, look at it, literally killed me. Like, he like, the crown killed me. Is this what you want? And I'm sure that makes Damon think, because it's like, boy, like I said, nobody really wants to be the king. Like, be the prince, Damon. Like, you were good as a prince. Nobody wanted to kill you. You could run around, fuck as many bitches as you wanted, have as many wives as you wanted, but you want to try to be the king where your head is up for grabs constantly. It's just not worth it. In the next scene, you see Littlefoot basically helping Aegon with his rehab. And my thing is, he is trying to make sure Aemon does not stay on that throne at all costs, because he know he will be gone. I'm going to be honest. Littlefoot will be gone if Aemon end up staying on that throne. So he's like pushing his rehab to the max. Like he wants him out of that bed. Like, he want him out the bed. Next scene, you got Corlys and Alan having a conversation, and I don't get why he's trying to push. Like, if Alan don't really want no parts of this whole situation, don't overdo it, Corlys. Like, and Corlys proceeds to tell Alan, like, oh, your brother is one of the new riders. But then he ends up talking to him about his mother. Like, bro, you don't even really know his mother. You pretty much just smashed her and kept it moving. Don't try to stand here and talk to me about my mother, bro. Like, come on. Right. And just like I said, Alan said the exact same thing I said. Thank God Adam found something to do with himself, because he said Adam basically been looking to find his self-worth. Like, he been looking for something to do. So after he said that, he like, look, again, because Alan don't want no parts of this shit. So he like, all right, bro, I'm out. So after he tell him like, good for Alan, good for Adam, he like, all right, I'm out. Just like I said was going to happen. So in the next scene is given very much Lady Aaron kicking out Rhaena and Rhaenyra's kids. But I'm sure she kept that fucking dragon, her weird ass. I never liked her, bro. I wanted her out the veil as soon as she got in there. Like, as soon as she got there, I could tell that lady didn't fuck with her, because she feel like Rhaenyra had played in her face by giving her them baby dragons versus a full-size dragon. But the thing is, at that time, Rhaena didn't ride a dragon, so it wasn't like she was gonna come. Rhaena was coming on Dragonback. Ends up seeing more disarray, where you could tell that a dragon had came through and burned some shit up. So she more and more she's understanding the fact that there's a larger dragon that has been in the veil. even though her and Lady Aaron had already had that conversation. So she's just trying to find this dragon at this point. You got Allison out in the woods. She don't know. She's really going through it. Like, she don't have nothing going on. Like, Aemon literally took her entire existence in one scene. The next scene, you got Rhaenyra and Jace basically conversing about the whole thing with Adam, and Jace basically bite her head off like, you got commoners coming up here basically claiming dragons, doing whatever. He like, if that's the case, if a fucking commoner can come off the street and claim a dragon, what does that mean for me, who basically has been a bastard my whole life and had people criticize me about it? And you basically carry it like I'm not a bastard, even though I know Lord Strong is my father. Don't I look just like him? Like, and I'm just like, damn, Jace, calm down. Like, boy, you already know what the situation is. What do you want? Rhaenyra to admit to it? Okay, all right. She was freaking off. But you don't have to get in her ass every chance you get, Jace. Like, it's like low-key annoying for real. Corlys and Alan, he's basically telling Alan, like, you're the one that's going to execute Mysaria's plan with trying to sneak the Targaryens or Valyrians from King's Landing to Dragonstone. Because this is going around and people, and you know, now the word is getting out. Now the word is getting out that if you're a Targaryen, or you may think that you have some type of that blood in you, you should basically be going here tonight to get picked up so you can go to Dragonstone or whatever. So in the next scene, you got Hugh and his wife talking, and he's basically telling her, like, look, this is something I have to do. You know, he goes into the conversation about his mother and how she was a Targaryen, but because she was a whore and, you know, she basically did what she wanted to, she kind of got disowned, and which made, even though he was related to Viserys and Daemon, I think technically they his uncles. So even though he was related to them, because the mother was looked at as beneath the rest of the royals, he was raised amongst the commoners. So he's telling his wife, like, listen, I have to do this. If I can claim a dragon, this is going to be so beneficial for not just the war, but it's going to be beneficial for us. He like, we not going to have to want for anything. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point when your daughter already passed. And the thing about Hugh's wife is, I fuck with her because she a real one. She like, at the end of the day, I'm not pressed to be a lady of high value, and I'm not pressed to be a widow if you go up there and try to fuck with that dragon and you get your ass burnt up. So in the next scene, I would have never thought it was all these Valyrians and Targaryen bastards running around King's Landing. First of all, it was like hell of them. I'm talking about, like, I don't even think that they had enough boat to carry all these motherfuckers. That really goes to show that the fathers was really out there freaking off, like. And then don't forget, because you know, I think he part of the lineage too, so of course he's there, his drunk ass. I don't care nothing about Allison's realization that all of this was bullshit, because that's all she's going through, is understanding that everything that she's done and all of this that they going through right now was not even worth it. So her running off and wanting to be in the middle of the woods and be apart from the royals and all of that, nobody cares. You did this shit. You could have very much lived a normal life had you not been pressed as fuck. And you wouldn't even have had to have one of your sons damn near die. You wouldn't have lost your best friend. Fuck it, your damn husband wouldn't have died because he wouldn't even have been your husband. So I hope in that scene where she caught herself floating around in the water, hopefully she's just drowned. Because like I said, she's a fool. In the next scene, you got Rhaenyra overlooking all of these goddamn Targaryen people. She probably can't even believe that it's that many either. Talking about, God, my family is terrible. We just be doing anything. So of course, the Dragon Keepers is pissed off with Rhaenyra. They like, listen, baby. First and foremost, that shit you did with Darkin was foolish. So now you about to bring 30 people up in here and have the same shit happen to them? They like, okay, now you just doing too much. So she like, we don't want no parts of this shit. So I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, y'all work for her. Nobody care if y'all want no parts of it. The dude end up telling her like they not play things and this shit like that. But my thing is, she's not playing. She's trying to win the war. At the end of the day, she needs to find other riders. So you can say she playing and all of that if you want. No. And if these people know what they risking and they still willing to do it, okay, you can't be mad at nobody, and neither can she. They know what the risk is. Your ass gonna get burnt the fuck up. If you can't claim, you gonna get burnt up. That's it. So of course, Rhaenyra gives the pep talk to everybody, and I'm sorry, they ain't a pep talk in the world that could have got me in that line. But she gives them a pep talk. She tells them about the 2 dragons that they trying to claim. One of them being the second largest one in the realm. One of them being this, that, and the third. So, but like I said, you couldn't have got me there. So she brings all of these people down there to the dragon dungeon. Summons Vermithor. First and foremost, Vermithor is big as shit. Like, big as shit. Like, I mean, granted, Vhagar big, but it's just like the head size of Vermithor is insane. So, and the thing is, I'm sure in that instance, Rhaenyra didn't know how much actual power she had. So when she goes to reach out to touch Vermithor, he basically concedes to her. So I'm like, all right, cool. So you do have like the blood of the dragon, like in you. So of course she tells Vermithor, like, basically claim your rider. This motherfucker starts burning up any and everybody. I'm just like, oh my God, is anybody gonna be able to claim? Because like I said, the way he started burning up all of them Targaryens and shit was crazy. And Rhaenyra knew it was gonna be bad, because you know what she did? She went to the balcony, okay? She went to the balcony. She said, I'm not about to be down there, because if that fire starts spreading and if they get on fire and they start running around and catching each other on fire, I don't want to be down there. I don't want to be down there. Everybody else is pretty much getting ate up or burnt up by the 2 dragons. And you got by the Vermithor, excuse me. And you got Hugh, who is like making a good case for himself. Like, he's not getting killed, and he's getting out of the way, and it doesn't seem like the dragon is specifically going after. Eventually you end up getting Vermithor and Hugh standoff, and Hugh basically screams at the dragon, and he ends up being able to claim Vermithor. And I'm just like, shit. Now, it's one thing like for a smaller dragon, because you could imagine you could control the situation a little bit more if you're Rhaenyra, but now you done let this man, a commoner, even though he's literally your uncle, you let him come in and claim the second largest dragon in the realm? Rhaenyra. Second scene. In the next scene, of course, you got Alf. He running around, but he doesn't know that Vermithor has been claimed. So he's just running around thinking that he's still being chased, this, that, and the third. He ends up in this tunnel. And in that tunnel, you end up seeing that other dragon, Silverwing. And that one basically scares the shit out of him. He thinks he's going to die. That one allows him to claim. So I said, okay, so now we got Alf drunk looking ass as a rider, and then we got Hugh. So we got 2 new riders, but who are these motherfuckers? And are they going to mean any good to Rhaenyra's cause, or are they going to be out for self? Because now you're definitely in a situation where you could be out for self. So I guess all we can do is wait for the next episode. Rhaenyra, you up what? 4-2 on the greens right now, because they only got Vhagar and Helena dragon. Because Sunfire burnt the fuck up. Aemon is the only one. And then, like I said, Helena got a dragon, but Helena don't ride. So, who they got? And you got yours, Damon's, Jace's, Hugh, Alf. You set, babe. Adam, you're set. Like, there's no fucking. After Alf claims his dragon, he ends up flying it out of King's Landing. Aemon and Loras and Ironrod are having a meeting, and he's basically finally telling him about the fact that Sea Smoke supposedly has a dragon. But in the background, you hear the people in King's Landing screaming about a dragon, because at that point, Alf has took Silverwing out, and he's flying it around King's Landing. So pissed off Aemon jumps on his horse. He goes to Vhagar, flies towards Dragonstone. the closer he gets to Dragonstone, he can either sense or see the other dragons, because he does not continue to go towards Dragonstone. Like, that man basically was fucking stopped in his tracks. Then you see Rhaenyra standing there, and you see all her dragons standing behind her. So like I said, Rhaenyra is up on this battle right now. Like, she should very much be able to take over this whole shit, get her throne, and be fine. So that was House of the Dragon season 2, episode 7, The Red Sowing. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. HighTimez out.